ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Show me the money.
Oh, you didn't know?
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Put my shoes on, you wouldn't last a mile.
Summertime, wintertime, I'm on the grind. Yeah, I got the ring, I'm the champ, I'm the genie of the lamp.
This is the gift I was given, so I just live by my hustle.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
VIP me put in my pocket, it don't make sense, but don't make a profit. So I hustle, ladies and homies. Make money, money.
Called out here for a pill. When he tryna get this money for the real.
I want to find a thing to save my life, so I hustle.
It ain't over for me. No, it ain't over for me.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Show me the money!
Okay, let's go smoke that joint.
What up? What up? Fantasy Football Hustler back at you, and we got another mock draft. And you know, I usually do Superflex and I mix in the IDP, but we're giving back to the community today. You know, we're going to be coming up with a bunch of 1QB mock drafts just to make sure that everyone out there is covered with the content that me and my friends are bringing. And if you guys aren't signed up on Patreon, go get signed up there right now. Patreon.com/FFHustler. 420. I'm bringing the advice just to the next level. Like, I mean, we got a draft guide going on there with rankings from like 5 or 6 analysts in the game, including myself. We got offensive line rankings there. We got kicker and team defense rankings there, just in case you guys need that. And I'm bringing one-on-one advice. You get the all access tier or you get the ultimate supporter tier. I'll literally help you with one-on-one live help during your draft. You just got to give me the draft day and time. And if all that wasn't enough, get signed up now because we got the Ricky Williams signed jersey giveaway. So, yep, you get signed up right now. You get your entries into that as well. All right. Before we start this mock, I got to bring out some of my homies here because, you know, when I'm doing these live mocks on Sleeper, I'm always trying to bring some of my friends in. So, let's bring out my man Taco representing the Daily Sporting.
Woo! What is up? I am hyped.
What is going down?
This is my bread and butter. This is where I like to eat. One draft QB redraft, like, oh, heavenly. I just was in a 12-team league where I had 4th pick, and it was out of 10 teams. I was telling you the other day. Now we got 2 more people in this 12. They're redoing the draft. I'm hoping I get something new, but I'm hyped for this, bro. I'm hyped.
Oh yeah, let's get it. So yeah, this is going to be, I think I may have done one QB mock. I don't even think I've done a 1 QB league yet. I don't know if that's going to happen, but well, we'll see. I'm in the Megla Bowl with the footballers. So that one's always going to be a 1 QB and team defense. Maybe one day they'll step it up. All right. And then another recurring guest. You see, he's everywhere right now. Someone who I can even say is probably hustling harder and more than me. But let's show some love for my man, Matty Daddy.
Oh, yeah, I'm the hustle. Freak out, man. Football season is around the corner. I can taste it, dude. Hustler Taco, let's get down to business. Let's do those single mock drafts. Get them guys ready for the QB season we're about to have in store. Let's just hit it hard and hit it fast, baby. Woo!
Fact.
Oh, yeah. And in hustler fashion.
Are you ready?
And wait, that's not enough.
I said, are you ready?
All right, we got everybody in there. We made them wait a couple extra minutes. So here we go. Let's get it started. And I'm going to have this on the podcast later. So I'm reminding myself now to be really good. And at the end of every round, we're going to read off the picks of that round. And we are getting started.
So, all right. So I was going to tell you, I was going to do something really wild in that other draft. So it's a PPR, 1 quarterback redraft league. And with the 4th pick, instead of taking Derrick Henry like he's projected to be there, I was taking Devontae Adams. I was going big time on the wide receiver because I was like, if I am not getting a Kamara, Cook, or McCaffrey, what other player can consistently get you over that 300-point mark? He's like 52% wide receiver 1. He is probably the most elite wide receiver right now in the game. I went bold there because I also, like we've seen, I like those mid-tier running backs. I like those guys that are going from like 3 to 5. I like a couple of them.
I can dig it.
Yeah, man.
And it always, I mean, you know, one QB. How many teams did you say? You said 12, right?
Yep. Like, when is Henry going to break down? You can't get that much workload in the NFL and not eventually break down. Like, it's going to happen. Just when? I feel like it's a ticking time bomb. I also was debating taking Saquon Barkley at 4, but I was like, that's too much of a homer pick.
All risk with Saquon this year, man.
I
Especially
know.
if he doesn't play week 1, man, that could kill you in the first round.
I know. That's why I went on Adams. I just don't like Henry in PPR. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but if Adams is on the board and if you're talking about when Barkley's healthy, you know, because my thing was like, okay, if I have Barkley and he's not that healthy, but by like week, 7, he's like Saquon freaking Barkley,
And there you go. You see Adams and Diggs.
I
going
know.
7. So, I mean,
I love
they're
Eckler this year.
there's always going to be 1 or 2 wide receivers, that go in the first round. I mean, Kelsey could always pop in the first round. I mean, especially if you're in an 8 or 10 team draft, like you better get Kelsey in the first round because he's not making it to you in the second round unless you have to turn.
I'll be honest, man. Eckler to me is one of those underrated guys. I am in love with Eckler this season. I think he could be Kamara light.
And see, we've had a few people chime in here. So my man JC Money Design said that Henry's only had the workload for 2 years. That's for sure.
I know.
Mark's saying the same thing because, even the first year that he was in the NFL, I mean, he was like a backup to DeMarco Murray.
I get you. But eventually, with the way he plays, it's not like he's a guy that's a guy that operates in space. He looks for contact. That has to put a little more.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. He is.
One thing I will say is it always seems like, I mean, he gets all these yards and he seems like a grinder, but he's always got those big runs, where nobody touches him and he breaks off 90 yards, Well, let me read off round 1 for the podcast, peeps. So CMC, Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Henry. I took Zeke at 5, and then Adams, Diggs, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley in the first. Who do you guys think out of all these first round picks, who was the riskiest pick?
Oh, Barkley. It's got to be, right? He's the only one that's not guaranteed to play week 1.
Well, and I'm not even going to say for week 1. Let's just say on the season. I mean, because everyone here is pretty much being drafted at their ceiling.
Right.
Who do we think doesn't finish because 10 running backs went here. Who do we think might not finish top 10?
I'm not as high on Taylor as most either, just with the situation. Yeah. I think that's a lot of red flags. So
same.
Yeah, I'm trending down on Taylor, and honestly, Elliott scares me a little bit. And taking Diggs there, like, are we really expecting Diggs to repeat that crazy performance he had? Like, I do expect him to come down a little bit. I personally think that Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, and Gibson are 3 of those guys in that mid to later round that I'm really loving. Like, I like their upside. To me, at 4, I would rather be at 11 than 4 because I had a shot at Jones, Barkley, and Gibson. And then on the back end, I ended up with Kelsey in the second round, which, I mean, that when you talk about positional advantage, no one offers it like Kelsey. So it's like, especially in a redraft QB late league where I can get running backs and wide receivers, I like the late end. I do.
And so you guys know that I'm really big on reception perception and how that breaks down the wide receiver position in general. And Matt Harmon was on the show a few days ago. He said Diggs's performance in 2020 was literally the best reception perception finish in every single metric of any player ever. And he's been charting this shit for 8 or 9 years. So we got to expect a little bit of regression, a little bit.
Yeah. And I remember Diggs blew the fuck up in week 16 versus me in the finals. So I really hate that bastard.
What up, Chris? Said we're almost here. Can't wait to pop in your streams and you help me win the big bucks. You already know, bro. And make sure you hop over on YouTube when you get a chance as well, because the YouTube chat is always a little bit better than the Facebook chat.
Facts. And if he's in the group, he knows that we're gonna be answering questions all year long.
Hell yeah. And Coach C, same days last year for the start and sit questions. I'm actually expanding it this year. So I'm gonna do Wednesday. I'm gonna do Thursday. I don't think we're going to do Friday. I think that's a day we're going to skip other content, but we are going to do Saturday and we are going to do Sunday. And I'm mixing in a Tuesday live stream for waivers. And we're going to be doing a fantasy news today show, literally a 30 to 40 minute live stream every single day for news. Weekdays during the season. So live stream.
Hustler, are you still doing your Friday casual movie night? Is that still on the docket?
Yeah, so me and Bogart are going to be doing that. It's going to be we're going to be doing that's going to be get us out of the football mode for at least one night.
Relax a little bit.
Talk about some fun movies, that we haven't watched in a while. I'm definitely going to be hitting you guys up to see if you want to get on any of those, cuz it'll be fun to wind down. Friday's kind of like, after that Thursday game, it's almost like the start to the real start of the week.
The calm before the real storm.
For sure.
It's like, okay, we can all watch this one game. Everyone's going to try to avoid playing someone because we don't like playing on Thursday nights.
Joseph on Twitter, what up? All right, let's read out round 2 for the podcast peeps. So Gibson going at 2-1. The closer we get to the season, the higher he's going to go, but he's one of my favorite picks in the second round. For sure. Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins. I took A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Darren Waller to round out the second.
Nice.
I can dig it.
Had a big wide receiver run there in the middle, 5 in a row.
Yeah, I'm shocked at that. Normally, these running backs have been going up higher. I like that we're getting closer to the season and more people are starting to realize some of these running backs are wild cards. Like, honestly, I probably would have taken one of those wide receivers before I took Joe Mixon.
For sure. I would have liked to see
any
Joe
one of the
Mixon.
5. Like any one of the 5.
And what do you guys think about Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the end of the second? I know that's where he's been going, but is that too rich for your blood or good?
He scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those he didn't wow us last year, so it's a little nerve-wracking. And you bring in a McKinnon guy who, when healthy, can do work in the pass game. So I think it's a wait and see with Clyde still.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm hesitant. I know that they increased that offensive line. It's going to be much better than it's been. But when I look at that sample size that we've seen of him in like the red zone, goal line, short yard situations, it did not inspire any confidence. And when Le'Veon Bell, who gets cut from the Jets, is able to come in and eat into some of your target shares and snaps, it makes me really have to wonder, like, how do they really feel about you guys? Like,
back up, like, track on them.
Yeah, like, come on, man. That to me was a red flag. So now coming into this season, they didn't really get anyone to take away from his, real target share. Like McKinnon is like oft injured. Like that guy is like, fuck, fuck you, Vegas.
That would have been nice. I mean, him or Keenan Allen fall into the end right there. Yeah, that would have been nice.
Wow. Talk about sniped. Jeez. Damn it. What timing, right?
And then a panic pick with Darrell Henderson.
That is not a panic pick. That's
I know it's not a panic pick, but
I was between Henderson and Robinson, but in my opinion, Robinson is way better than Henderson. Like it's like a tier difference. Like Robinson's in that secure tier. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the last wide receiver I feel like comfortable about.
Yeah, and I mean, we're pretty much. I mean, he was the 11th wide receiver taken off the board. So yeah, once you get outside of that top 12, it's definitely a little bit of a tier break. And yeah, guys like Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, like definitely some of my favorite wide receivers to target in the third round of a 1 QB league. And man, those guys are like end of the third and fourth rounders in Superflex League. So that's what I'm loving.
I went ballsy.
Right. Podcast people, let's read it out. So we got Josh Jacobs, George Kittle, Chris Carson, Terry McLaurin. I took David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Miles Sanders, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Allen Robinson, Darrell Henderson Jr., and Myles Gaskin. I'm so high on Myles Gaskin after this past preseason game. He might have like 80 to 100 receptions on the year.
They were talking about it being a three back set, a three back a committee over there,
right?
And I personally have been a believer in Gaskin since about week 2 last year. He was one of the first guys I wrote about, and I wrote him all season. I've had him in that playoff game last year versus Las Vegas where he went off. So I'm partial to him. I agree with you. Like, the guy is dynamic in the passing game.
He looks so good. And I mean, literally Tua is going to be check down Charlie. Like, he's going to be like the new Phillip Rivers of the NFL. And like,
Alex Smith.
Yeah. Like
I'm more hesitant.
I don't like Tua necessarily.
I'm a little more worried
about Gaskin or Tua.
Probably
about
both.
Gaskin and just that offense in general. I don't think it's necessarily he's not a good player. It's like you have 2 offensive coordinators. The offensive line's not great. They're talking about passing down the field, but then, what do we have here in Miami? That's my biggest worry. Not as much Gaskin if you can get him as a RB3, but fuck. If you're going to have to put him at RB2, I'm a little worried.
I mean, I don't mind him as an RB2 though. Like, because when you look at what this guy did, he doesn't even have a wide receiver yet. So he does have him as a top 3 pick.
It's going to be interesting for sure with Miami and a couple of these teams.
Yeah, in the 1 QB league, I guess you might have to reach to the third for him. I mean, Superflex, I've been seeing him go a lot later than the third round. So,
yeah, but also with the amount of running backs that came off the board, it's a tier break. After you have Hendo and Gaskins, after that, it's a drop off because now you're talking about rookies that have never done it, and a bunch of guys that are in timeshares. At least Gaskins, we're projecting to have a majority of the workload. Like, you could realistically argue Gaskins over everyone up to
Henderson Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. You could argue him over Swift, Sanders, Dobbins, Montgomery because of the work in the passing game. He could legitimately be an RB1. And like you said, if Tua is checked down Charlie, this guy's going to be a deal.
That's the biggest thing is how much that offense goes down the field, or if they're just checking down, it's going to be. And then if they use Malcolm Brown, like if he's just a body or if he's a goal line guy, we don't know yet.
That's the one worry. But what I've seen from Brown is he hasn't been efficient. He's been running it for like 5 times for like 10 yards, and it's just like you're not going to get anywhere with that. Salvin Ahmed looked good in the first preseason game. The coaches said that he wanted to be a 3-back committee. So that's been why Gaskins has been falling. But, like, I really do like him.
I mean, he got one in on the ground and one through the air. Both in the red zone. Both in the green zone or whatever the last yards is. It looked nice.
Yeah, and he has big playability. Like, he has that ability to make a guy miss and go far. And that, like, he's a home run hitter that can get singles. Like, that's why I'm, like, looking at him like he's pretty safe. At least he was, in my opinion, till the coach said about the 3-back shit. That really fucked with me.
And that could just be coach speak,
coach speak.
Because, last week, maybe it was just them, wanting to, just limit his work a little bit, see what they had out of Malcolm Brown, and then what did they do week 2? They know what they got out of Malcolm Brown. He's like, maybe a 3rd down back who can pass protect or whatever, for that only, but he's not going to be the 3rd down back for a passing, type of play.
Yeah, like he is a short yardage, you don't want to hurt Gaskins, so let's bring this guy in for that tough 1 or 2 yards just to get us that 1st down. I think in goal line, it might be Gaskins just because he gives you that flexibility to throw to, so it kind of doesn't force the defense into like, oh, Brown's in, they're going to run, or it's going to go to one of these other guys, you know what I mean? So now the threat of play action becomes better, the threat of a flat throw, it makes you have to play your defense completely different.
when maybe their defense is pretty stacked, so maybe they're up, 14-7 or something, in the third quarter. Maybe they just switch over to Brown for a series or two to let him grind it out, something like that.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm slacking for you podcast people. We got 2 rounds to read out. So 4th and 5th starts off with Hawkinson, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, CeeDee Lamb. I was a little surprised to see Woods and Kupp go over CeeDee Lamb. Chris Godwin, Kyle Pitts, Mike Evans, Travis Etienne, Patrick Mahomes, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, and Josh Allen. And then to start the 5th, Mike Davis, Kareem Hunt, Chase Edmonds, Adam Thielen, Javonte Williams, Mark Andrews, James Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Julio Jones, and last pick in the 5th is up right now.
It was closer in between Kupp and Lamb, like super close. But all that shit that's going on with Dak Prescott has me goddamn worried. And you know what?
Crazy, isn't it?
Cooper Kupp got Stafford this year. And Cooper Kupp is perennially one of these top guys. Him and Woods are super close. And I went Woods, but I didn't realize that I had Henderson and Kupp back to back. I was like, damn, I just really went in on the Rams.
There you go. And Cooper Kupp's been someone that, I've been on him since literally preseason of his rookie year. I mean, his dad was a professional football player. His grandpa's a professional football player. He lives, eats, sleeps, breathes football and was bred for this. So dude is a baller.
I agree with you 1,000%, man. That's kind of why I was like, to me, it's like all those 3 guys are the last of their tier. I do have Godwin as a tier, maybe right below, because that situation in Tampa Bay is weird. There is so like the Rams have a lot of mouths, the Cowboys have a lot of mouths, the Bucks have an insane amount of mouths. Like, there's everyone in every position. You're 3 deep at wideout, plus you have some kids, plus you have 2 running backs, plus you have Tom Brady who knows how to play the percentages. Gronk. So Hustler, I got a question for you.
Yep.
Looking at this, okay, so it's a PPR 1 QB redraft league, and you got yourself damn near 3 running backs already. How you feeling about that? You're more of a running back traditionalist here, because I mean,
I got 4 running backs. I went
4. Shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then I went AJ Brown as my 1 wide receiver, and then I got David Montgomery, Travis Etienne, and Javonte Williams. I mean, Javonte Williams shouldn't have fell to the 5th. I mean, really,
I like him.
So many wide receivers and the 2 QBs. I mean, that made a guy like him fall. I couldn't pass up on that in the 5th. I had to force myself to do it. But now we're not looking too good, with my second wide receiver spot. But
gotta go big now. You got to go for that upside play at receiver, maybe.
We're going rookie there. So I just went 3 rookies in a row. May not always be the best strategy, but we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then Matty, you got the 4th quarterback off the board. I'm really interested in Lamar this year because I'll be honest, I like where he's being priced this year versus where he was being priced last year. He was going up into like the 3rd round. Now you can get him in 6, 7, and if he rebounds, you're talking about a guy that him and McCaffrey were 1 and 2 in points in 2019, and both put up pretty historic seasons. And I like the upside that you get on Jackson. Murray's starting to scare me.
I feel like my whole team has upside, but they have a safe floor. Like all these guys, for the most part, even the RBs should be a RB2 at worst, but should have RB1 weeks, you would think, at least with Harris and Eckler.
Yeah.
I'm not as high on Swift as most.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I really like Claypool. I think Claypool could take over more than Deontay Johnson overall. And I'm real high on Dobbins too. So it's going to be interesting to see with Lamar, everybody like that. I think so far, I think it should keep me in the league and maybe have some big weeks for me. So
yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with Dobbins because I have a 14-team league. It's like a $500 buy-in, and me and my friend do live draft and everything. We got the first pick, and J.K. Dobbins is a guy that we keep talking about, like right around that 2-3 turn. And my co-manager is very anti him because of Gus Bus. Because Gus Edwards be coming in out of nowhere, they just vulture everything. And Gus, it's like whenever you see Gus, you want to say like, okay, he's it's Gus Edwards, but then you start like watching, and he's like, yo, homie could play. And that's what scares me a little bit because between Jackson, Gus Edwards, Dobbins, plus the passing game, how does that really all shake out? Who gets goal line? How much passing?
But what kind of passing game do they have? I mean, this is the league leading and rushing offense in the NFL. So to me, there's more to see there with Dobbins. I feel like they're about to unleash the beast, and we're all either going to be too early or too late, or not soon enough. So
let me read out round 6 here, and I'll give my thoughts. So started off with Kyler Murray, then Brandon Ayuk, Melvin Gordon, Lamar Jackson, Odell Beckham, Raheem Mostert, Trey Sermon. I took Jamar Chase, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Gesicki, DJ Chark, and Damian Harris. So the one thing that I get a little nervous about is with the extended season with 17 games. If the Ravens go up in some of their cupcake games that they got, is Dobbins the guy who grinds the clock, or does Gus Edwards come in and grind the clock? I feel like that's Gus Bus territory. So that's one thing that makes me just a little nervous.
Yep. I was really hoping that Thomas fell to me, though. Like, Thomas now is starting to become a value to me because from what I'm seeing, he's starting to come back. He should be back sooner than later. And if you get him in I was debating him or Ayuk. Like, I was like, those are the two guys that I was really looking at, and I was hoping I could swing him back. But I do think that when you see that a guy like Herbert going in the 7th round, it just shows you in one QB, in PPR drafts with one QB, you could really wait and not be like assed out. It just depends on who you like and what kind of upside you're going after and how your team kicks out. Huh?
Taco Hustler, I have a request. Yeah. When the 7th round is over, can I read the recap for the 7th round?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's lit. My man's about to get some energy.
Yeah. What up? Shout out to Affiliate Sports. Yeah, make sure you follow them on Facebook. Probably gonna have some live streams come with them, getting your wagers ready for the football season.
Dope. Like, so how far does Dak fall now? Because now I'm looking at these quarterbacks like 7th round. I already got 2 running backs, a tight end, and 3 wide receivers. Like, I'm looking at one of these quarterbacks.
He's got to be flirting with close to the 10th round, close to double digits, I think, just until we get some new news about, what's going on with his injury.
Yeah, this is what's getting scary with Dak. Is like, what the fuck is really going on with you, guy? But the thing is, the guy that picked ahead of me already has a quarterback, so I don't need to take a quarterback now.
Yeah, and even
getting a little crazy in the 7th, ladies and gentlemen.
Especially in these 1 QB leagues. I mean, there's so many people that do not take a second QB. I mean, I don't think I will ever pick a QB really early unless I get some extreme value, in which Patrick Mahomes was an extreme value, even where I passed up on him at the 4-8. I took ETN over Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
There you go. Another one. So 6 QBs off the board as of now through the 7th round.
This is a tough pick here.
And there we go. I drafted Dak in one of my leagues last night. He better come back week 1. From what I'm seeing, everything was over-exaggerated about his injury. So obviously we don't know 100% yet, but he should be back week 1. And shout out to Charter, a Patreon member.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right, go for it, Matty.
7th round, ladies and gentlemen, has been off the hook. We started off with Michael Thomas at the 7-1 spot. Devontae Smith, injuries galore. Herbert went 3, followed by the upside and Michael Carter. A little Claypool action here, but then not too far behind. Juju Smith-Schuster, Waddle, just a bunch of receivers with a bunch of risk, followed by Sutton. And your boy, Matty Daddy, took Boyd, Aaron Rodgers, Robbie Anderson, and Mr. Consistent with no upside, Jarvis Landry. That's the 7th round, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
Jarvis Landry is like a perfect flex because, like,
7 points, mark it. Let's go.
Yeah, just right middle of the road, blah, every week.
He's like a perfect last starter. Like, yeah, I just need to make sure that you don't.
That's like if you're a championship team, he's like
Yep.
your worst player.
Yep.
Because at least he would. Outside of my QB and tight end, Claypool was my last starter at the other position. So he took a QB and he took a quarterback also. So Jarvis Landry's a little bit higher up on his pecking order in the flex. Actually, no, he took him as his wide receiver too.
Yeah.
He went RB heavy in the beginning.
Yeah, but he has Gaskins as a flex, so that definitely does help him out. Hustler about to grab a quarterback?
No, I think I'm waiting on QB.
I mean, if you look at what you're set up with, yeah, there's only one team that's going to probably take a QB after you because 3 of them already have them. That's one thing when you're drafting people that you need to be looking at. Who has a quarterback when? Because I knew that when Rodgers went, I was like, okay, I wasn't even thinking about Rodgers because I was like Wilson or Dak. I was like, the guy after me has a quarterback. I don't need to take this quarterback first. Let me get the wide receiver out the way because I like Robbie more than Landry or Brown. Boom, got him, then got my quarterback. And realistically, it didn't cost me, the upside player. Like, I knew he was going to leave a quarterback. There's no need for you to take that quarterback first. And those little things make a big difference.
Yep. And one QB league, I could literally start the 15th QB, on the week, and it's not going to be that much of a difference, between the 7th or 8th QB. So one QB leagues, I just always punt that position, get 2 of them, at the end that are usually somewhere in the top 15, 16. It just depends if anybody takes a second QB, which we do have bench spots in this mock, so we'll see if that happens. Mm-hmm. That's when I start to pay attention at that spot.
And I've been on this all off season since the fishbowl. Ryan Tannehill is going criminally low. This guy's underrated. Yeah. He's one of those guys that's on the board till super late that I love. And I would if it wasn't for the fact that Russell Wilson was here in the 8th round when I already have my 2 running backs, my 2 wide receivers, my tight end, and 2 of my 3 flex spots, then I maybe would have waited a little bit. But I do like Wilson's upside. I do think Wilson could be a tick above Ryan.
Yeah.
How you guys feeling about old Henderson this year?
Henderson, I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
We're talking DJ or Darrell Henderson.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I guess I get a little bit nervous for where he's actually going, just because we see how McVay likes to switch things around, and I think he's going to be the guy. But
do you see upside with Henderson, or do you just see a floor of RB2?
I see a floor of RB2. I think. Well, let's see how many running backs were drafted, because I do think that's good value compared to where all the running backs were drafted.
But also remember, when he was the starter for that period of time before he got hurt, he was playing like a damn near RB1. He had his flashes. Now, I think with the offseason and him losing the job and now coming back into it, I think that hopefully gave him a little bit of incentive. I have to really start looking at his preseason games to see what kind of workload he's got. But I think that it's a setup situation where he could be really safe. He should be a 3-down back.
I guess that's what makes him nervous, or that's what makes me nervous about him. You took him at RB21. So, that's fair value, for sure. Because that's where I think he is going to finish as a low end RB2. But I don't like the fact that, when they brought him in, literally his first year, he got no play at all. And I'm pretty sure they drafted him as a late 1st round pick, if not a 2nd round. I can't remember off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. And then the next year after that, it's like Cam Akers, they get him, and, it's Malcolm Brown, and he's like the 3rd man on the totem pole. Literally took Cam Akers and Malcolm Brown getting injured for him to become the starter. And then Cam Akers taking over at the end. That's what makes me nervous. It's almost like they don't believe in him, and who knows if they, come get another.
So let's pivot to that. So Henderson, we're doing obviously a redraft. But for a dynasty standpoint, is this a guy that you're maybe trying to flip for an upside receiver? Or are you going to wait till a couple weeks in the season, or will then it be too late? A lot of intrigue here with this guy. A lot of people getting ready for week 1.
I think I'd hold for right now, unless I got a good offer. Because for dynasty,
right,
we drafted him low.
Or it depends on what your team is. Like if you're a team that's going to be punting and you don't want to lose the value in case he sucks, then go ahead, get your pick or get your upside player for next year. But if you're a team that's going to be competing for the championship this year, it would make sense to hold him because he could go up to be a good team. So I think it really depends on where you are at for this year.
Absolutely. Good things to consider. How about these Hustler? Who's been drafted so far? Let's hear about it, baby.
8th round. Here we go. Started off with Antonio Brown, Russell Wilson, Noah Fant, Brandon Cooks, Logan Thomas, Dak Prescott, Debo Samuel. I took Curtis Samuel, Ronald Jones, Laviska Shenault, Leonard Fournette, and Henry Ruggs. And we're about almost all the way through the 9th. I'll read that in a second. A lot of wide receivers. Is
homie a Raiders fan? Because that's one of the earliest I've seen Ruggs. Ruggs usually slips pretty late. And he has Waller, Jacobs, and Ruggs. So he got the Cowboys.
He's got Ruggs, Michael Thomas, and Rager as his receivers.
Yeah, like damn. And Rager was a Raider last year.
Like that lineup makes me nervous as hell, especially for the number 1 draft pick. I feel like I'm not saying he failed, but I better see some nice wide receiver picks with his last 5 picks that make his 2 starting wide receivers make sense to me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I probably would have, instead of taking Jacobs there, I probably would have taken a Terry or an Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Boom. And then I would have, at that point where Josh Allen is, I probably would have waited and taken another receiver. Boom. And then you got the two running backs, so you would have had McCaffrey. And now Harris is starting to scare me with the Raheem kid that's coming out.
And look at how much – I know Josh Allen's going to be a beast, but look at how much it hurt taking Josh Allen there. If he would have took any wide receiver there, his team is so much better than what it is, right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the key to these leagues, man. You gotta kind of wait on these QBs. Like it's hard because last year I took Mahomes in like the 3rd, 4th round, thinking I had Barkley, I had Mixon. I was like, let me get Mahomes and lock this down. And I hit on all my late wide receivers, but Mahomes never returned 3rd round value, and I lost my first 2 running backs. I still made the finals, but it was not a team that I loved.
Uphill battle. We know about those. All right, 9th round. Let's read it out. So we got Jalen Reagor and Marquise Brown, Michael Pittman, Kenyon Drake. I took Corey Davis. I was hoping that a guy like Jacoby Myers would fall, but some people have probably been paying attention to me, I guess, because I went Tannehill and then Jacoby Myers went, then James Conner, Tom Brady, Zach Moss, Mike Williams, and Darnell Mooney to round out the night. There we go. And Taco, you had to do it. You had to be the one to go double up on your QB. And so now, like the top 10 QBs went, and as soon as Tannehill and Brady went, now my spidey sense started tingling. And I was like, it's about time we got to get ready to make our moves. And of course, you're the one to do it. Oh, actually, you know what? Matty Daddy did it first.
Yeah.
And Brady.
He's RJ, Ray J. He hit first. I was like, yo, bro, I didn't even realize the time on the first one. So I kind of just grabbed Michael Williams on instinct. I was like, I really can't see anyone. I think he has good upside. Fuck it. Lock me in.
I'll be honest. I got auto picked Brady, so I'll take it. I mean, it's not the worst auto pick. But
yeah, you already had your QB. Who knows if that's where you
somebody auto picked James Robinson for me in the 2nd round. I was like, what is this shit?
Oh my God. They must not like you, huh?
No, the first this was like the Raz Bowl. First pick I made, and then the 2nd and 3rd, I slipped through the timer and ended up with Michael Thomas and James Robinson. I was pissed.
Ooh, damn.
Like, that's a good way to start it.
Yeah.
Nice pick by JP. Damn it. I was about to pick Dylan right there.
Another running back?
What?
I said another running back.
Yeah, man. 5 running backs. That'd probably be my last one. But yeah, you gotta. I mean, so in this, we have I don't know how many bench spots. I think 5 bench spots in here. What do you guys think about AJ Dillon though? I think that he's gonna have a little bit of flex. Like I like
him.
I think he's interesting. I do think he's interesting. I like him. Yeah, because think about what they did with Jamal Williams last year.
Yeah.
And like the last couple of years, like Jamal Williams has returned consistent value. And we know Aaron Jones does have some injury risk to him, and they do monitor his workload. It's not like he gets like 70% of the snaps. He's usually rocking at like 45 to 50.
Yeah, really like anywhere between 45 to 55 on a normal basis. So,
yeah,
I mean, I got to think that a guy like AJ Dillon's going to come in and get like, I would say 25 to 40% of the work like right away, because who knows if they're going to mix in that rookie at all.
Yep.
Yo, what up, sports? And I had the 10th pick of my draft last night, and Alvin Kamara fell to me because so many people took first-round QBs. So I'm assuming Superflex draft, right? Because, I've seen Kamara. I mean, I've seen Kamara go in the second round of some Superflex drafts.
Right.
That's why I love Superflex, and I was talking about it when we did a live draft a couple days ago. Everybody can do the strategy that they want, and you can still get a lot of your guys just because if everyone does different things, so many players fall that don't normally fall in these 1 QB leagues.
So the order just got redone, and I got fucking 11th pick. Let's go. I got this is my I guess this would be my third biggest money league because I rock 1 for 5, 1 for 3. This one's for 150.
5,000, 3,000. Ooh, girl.
I wish.
And Ryan said, what round do you start looking to handcuff? So it just depends. I mean, if you got a Dalvin Cook, you got a Zeke, you got a CMC, stuff like that. In a real draft, you better start being ready between the 10th and the 12th rounds, like somewhere in there, because someone just may try to do it just to spite you. I've seen it happen in real drafts, in Superflex drafts, no less. So you just better be ready. AJ Dillon, I would say, that's probably the best handcuff who can bring in, value on his own. But he went in the 10th. Zach Moss and Singletary. One of them is the handcuff. We don't know who it's going to be, but Moss went in the 9th. Singletary went in the 10th. J.D. McKissick just went in the 10th, even though I know he's going to have some standalone value. And Hines and Coleman. Well, actually, let me just read off the whole 10th round. McKissick, Stafford, Elijah Moore, Ito Smith, Baker Mayfield, Devin Singletary, A.J. Dillon. I took Michael Gallup, Dallas Goedert, Will Fuller, Nyheim Hines, and Tevin Coleman. So it's all handcuffs there in the 10th round. All right. Who's this other Maddie? We got 2 Maddies in here. We got Matty V right in front of me.
Matty V, what's up, baby? The diaper dandy.
Sammy Boy said, thoughts on taking Waller over Ridley in a 2 wide receiver league?
I can dig it.
Yeah. I mean, both are kind of right around the same area for me. All right. Getting one more running back because I think he's going to be the starting running back there.
Oh, Lindsay, hey?
Now, okay, so then here's my counter to the handcuff argument. Is it worth it to handcuff, or is it better to shoot for an upside play? Like, would you rather get a guy like a Lindsay, or would you rather be handcuffing someone here?
So, I mean, that's why I took Lindsay. Like, I had the choice of Pollard, a couple other guys, and I just feel like I'd rather have the upside of Lindsay. I'd almost rather take someone else's handcuff, especially like, an Alexander Madison. If I had Dalvin Cook, I don't even know if I'd want to get him, because every time he's come in when Dalvin Cook has been hurt, he's always kind of been blah anyways.
Right.
Guy like Pollard could have his own standalone value this year. I think more than years past, that's probably going to be a little bit more true. I was going to say Jamal Williams out loud, but I didn't, just to not and Chuba Hubbard. Those are probably my 2 favorite handcuffs, because I feel like Jamal Williams, he could start some games and be like a 1A and Swift be the 1B. Maybe we're talking like 15 to 14 carries or something like that, like very close. And Chuba Hubbard looks fucking good. He was like my favorite running back coming out. Just a shit landing spot because CMC's in front of you and he's the best running back in the league.
I'll be honest. I have a 14-team league where I'm gonna get McCaffrey with the first pick. I've already told my co-manager that's one guy that I'm interested in snagging up. Where like I said, I am normally cool with going with the upside play, but a upside back like that, just in case McCaffrey goes down, and McCaffrey is your holy grail. I think that does make sense. I think he's the only back I probably handcuff. Is it me or did Matty did not look that good last year? Like when I watched him play, I was not impressed.
Nah, everybody's wanted him for so long because of Cook, and he just hasn't done anything.
Yeah, and then Pollard. Okay, I like him, but that whole Cowboys offense is like a lot to go around and a lot to worry about. Like I don't know. I know that the Carolina Panthers are going to use their running back, and he's going to run, and he's going to catch passes, and that's going to be a huge part of their game. Like, I just know that. Like, you know what I mean? And Hustler, so you got no QB, no tight end. You just went all risk it for the biscuit. You said, I need Lindsey. I don't need any of these other guys. You're on mute. You're on mute like your team, bro. Like your team.
I was coughing too much. No risk it, no biscuit. You already know.
Like, damn, you already know what I'm about to do right now. You already know what I'm about to do right now.
I like that Terrace Marshall pick. That's a good pick. I like that Russell Gage pick. Higbee. I'm kind of nervous about him. I know that the narrative is there, like, you know, Stafford threw to TJ Hawkinson a lot, but I'm avoiding.
I got 4 Rams here. I got Henderson, Cup, I got Stafford, I got Higbee. Like, bro, I think that Rams offense is going to be dynamic this year.
Tevin Coleman is familiar with the coach and the system. I like him to start.
Me too.
He could. I mean, shit, that whole Jets backfield is going to be a shit show. Especially early.
Yes. I think late, though, Carter's the guy. So that's why Carter gets drafted a little bit higher. But to start the season, I love it because there's a chance he can hold on to the job or he can, you know, really start to dominate and take over. So I do think that's a possibility. But, you know, in this type of league, I'd basically be looking at Hustler. I'd be like, yo, bro, you want to trade? You got all these running backs and I got all these wide receivers, quarterbacks. I'd put Wilson on the table, try to get somebody out of you. I'd maybe think about putting Kelsey on the board and trying to get somebody out of you because the way your team is built and the way my team is built, like I have 2 running backs and then I have 5-6 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. Like I'm built to trade.
I look at the potential trade value that I got right there. You know, just going early. You know, 4 out of my first 5 picks being running backs. Like, if Javonte Williams or ETN flashed, you know, right away, first, second game, like, man, I'm going to be able to come away with a wide receiver 1, you know, 2 or 3 players, you know, for a stud running back. That's why I like going running back heavy in a 1 QB league.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Damn, now that I have 11. And the worst part about me having 11th pick is the guy that I do all my mock drafts with, like a lot of them at least. He is the 12th pick in that draft. So I'm gonna get sniped on the end with the bookends. Like,
so you're gonna have to take some early picks versus like trying to wait, right?
Yeah, like it's gonna be a lot of times where I was just saying like you gotta know who's drafting behind you. It's like, okay, I know that Barkley may pass back to me, so I might have to take Gibson there or Aaron Jones if he slides there. Like, you know what I mean? Like I may have to try to risk it on Barkley and hope he comes back around, but they all know I love Barkley. I wear the Barkley jersey every year. Like. I was almost going to take Barkley at 4. Like,
hey, Matty Daddy, why don't you read out round 11 and 12?
Oh, baby. I was hoping you'd say that. 11 and 12. Tricky rounds here, guys. We had Gronk, your tight end with the upside, could produce. Of course, he's connected to Brady. Everybody loves him at the 11-1. That's value. 11-2 Burrow, when protected, top 5 QB upside, very sexy. Hardman's 1 big play away from winning you the week. Gus Bus, the ultimate handcuff / running back by committee. We got Lindsey from the Hustler, could be the starter in Texas. Pollard at the 11-6, followed by Shepard. Then you got a set of handcuffs here in Jamal Williams and Hubbard. Amasa St. Brown, another sexy name in the 11th, as well as Gage and Marshall. 11th round had some surprises, but has some intrigue too. 12th round, this one gets a little uglier. Booker, Higbee, and Hilton. Janu, Marvin Jones, one of those guys like Landry, but does produce. Tanyan, nobody's buying the hype from last year. We got Devontae Parker. Will we ever see him again? Oh, Trevor Lawrence here. That's another intriguing one. Madison feels like the flowers off the rose. Madison, followed by David Johnson, who was actually a hell of a value last year.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson Aguilar could be the number one receiver in New England, and then sometimes love hurts, and that's what you got finishing your 11th round.
Yeah,
Interesting. You took Hurts over Lawrence, even though Hurts does give you that rushing upside. Like I do feel like
Lawrence
Hurts might be.
Lawrence runs a pretty fast 42, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
I'm
6'6",
shocked that Hurts
220, runs like a 4.5. I mean, he's not slow, I don't believe. Maybe, I don't know, 4.5. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but Hurts offers. He feels like one of those running quarterbacks. Hurts, though, if you know what I mean. Like when you watch Hurts play, he's like a runner that can throw, not like Lawrence, who's going to be throwing and may run a little bit. Like I feel like it's like almost like talking like Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Like Mahomes can run, but he's going to be looking to throw downfield and make a play with his arm versus Jackson, who's going to be like, well, you know what? That's a lane, and I'm just going to blow up the lane. And Lawrence has scared me a little this preseason. What were you saying?
I'm just completely out on the Eagles. Like, I mean, look at how they've looked the last couple years. You know, like I know I have Miles Sanders like in one league because he fell super late, and I did like a 0 RB strategy, and it was a super flex. But I just feel like Lawrence. I mean, we saw like Gardner Minshew, you know, be a viable QB in this league, you know, and I feel like Lawrence, he's definitely Minshew 2.0, you know, because he can throw a lot better. He can mix in those runs and stuff. I would rather have Lawrence than Hurts. I mean, that's just how I feel. Like they're gonna have a better run game in Jacksonville for sure, and I like their wide receivers a little bit more. Everyone always gets hurt in Philly, like it's just bound to happen.
And this rough preseason for Lawrence doesn't scare you at all.
I mean, it's preseason. I don't put too much stock into it, you know.
And then you win Lance. You think Lance is going to get that spot?
I mean, I think sometime within the season he will.
So you think that's worth drafting or waiting on the waiver wire for? Because that's...
I guess it just depends. It was between him and Cousins right now. Actually, him, Cousins, and Ryan right now for the second one. I just got a lot of rookies on my team, and I feel like in some leagues might have to get him with the last pick.
So now here's an interesting question then. Why or how or do you think that Trey Lance offers a lot more upside than, you know, the rookie that went right before him and Zach Wilson? Because Zach Wilson so far this preseason has looked like he's going to be a steal.
I think they both play in tough divisions, and yeah, Zach. I mean, it depended. If this was a super flex, I probably would have went Zach Wilson because I would have needed a starter. You know, if I was in the same position. But I feel like in a 1 QB league, Trey Lance might be that guy that I stash. You know, for 4, 5, 6 weeks because if he's going to get in, he's going to get playing time right away. And I just feel like his upside with the San Fran offense is higher than Zach Wilson second half of the season.
Yep. It's going to be interesting because there's a lot of these late QBs. Like Tua can go either way. Kirk Cousins is Mr. Reliable. Justin Fields.
Except in primetime games.
Well, that's reliable, though. He's reliably bad. Oh, someone took a ram on me. Damn. Oh.
All right, let's read out this 13th round. So a couple rookies here to start. Rashad Bateman, Rondale Moore, Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's still getting drafted, even if it's late. Brian Edwards. I took Trey Lance, Rashad Penny, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, James White, Gabriel Davis. Is that Xavier Jones? I forget what his first name is. And then Latavius Murray. And let's see who goes with the last pick. Jamison Crowder.
Ooh.
JC Money Design said Kirk is a straight joke. Don't draft him. Look straight trash. And I'm a Vikings fan.
Stevens.
That's the guy.
Stevens. That's
A lot
the
of
guy.
intrigue.
Yep.
Ramondre.
I forgot to look him up before I made my pick because I definitely would have taken him over Murray.
Dude's a baller.
Yeah, he's the guy that I got to remember for late because, like I said last time, someone is going to be a good running back in New England. We don't know who because they run the ball. But Sony Michel is done.
I do like picking up James White real late where I can because you already know, at least early in the season, Cam, he's checked down Charlie when he gets there in the red zone.
Yeah.
That might be an underrated name, man. That really might be an underrated name. Because there's no Rex Burkhead this year. Sonny Michel is pretty much done. Ramondre Stevens, I don't know how good he is in the passing game, but I doubt that he starts working over James White initially to start. So you could
Harris can't stay healthy either. So I mean, he's an injury away from being an RB2 no matter what.
Yeah, White actually might be someone that's going a little bit too late here, to be honest. Like, who offers you more?
It's just because he's not going to get that. I mean, that many rush at all. Less than 5 a game. But if you could put up 4 or 5 receptions in a game,
I think that's the key because in PPR, it's 1 point per catch. Like if you get 5 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown, you're looking at damn near 16 points.
Yeah.
So especially if they use him in the red zone and he's that catching back, and that could be an interesting situation where he's going to be a real return on investment where, he doesn't offer you RB1 or RB2 upside, but he'll be a consistent flex play that you'll be sitting there ecstatic that you get. So I definitely agree that James White, honestly, when you look at that guy's team, those 3 picks that he has there, Williams, Jones, and White, I think all offer some real good upside. Williams, because obviously we know Swift has some injury concerns. He has that groin injury. Jones, we don't know who the number 1's going to be, and Jones consistently puts up top 25 numbers. And I mean, we just talked about White.
Yep. And Hunter Henry, that's the only, suspect pick, there just because he's already been hurt, I think on 2 separate occasions now in the preseason. That makes me like Jonnu more because especially in the Patriots system, all the nuances of, the way that their playbook works, it's not an easy playbook to pick up. And I feel all the time that he's missing, that's going to make a difference to where Jonnu could start really hot.
You know what Jonnu right now is kind of reminding me of? He almost feels like that first season of Darren Waller, before Darren Waller was known, where he was going late because he's the athletic tight end who maybe could play the wide receiver 1 on the team. Because I think that's what we could be looking at where Smith is realistically probably the wide receiver 1. And I do think that there's a potential where, in larger leagues, both Henry and Smith can return value.
Yeah, for sure. And I really feel last year, I don't know what it was, but Jonnu never got hit in space ever. Never got hit in stride. It's he's getting it. It's either red zone, to where, there's no space for him to run, or he's catching it while he's getting tackled. And I feel with the Patriots, the way that they scheme the tight end, I feel he's going to get a little bit more yardage than he did in the past and have a little bit of yak.
It'll be intriguing in New England. So many new pieces and just a different style. So even Mac Jones, man, how long does he hold off,
Definitely. I think by week 4 to 6 somewhere is where he gets in there. I just, that the Patriots fans want them. He's looked pretty good, in the preseason. And I feel if Cam doesn't come out really slinging it, that Mac Jones is right there.
Yeah.
Well, so far, but so far in preseason, I think Cam has been shockingly looking efficient. And that's all Bill needs. Just be a little bit efficient because he's going to run Cam ragged. Cam is going to be like, Cam, I don't need you next year, bro. So you know what? First and goal, run. Second and goal, run. Third and goal, run. Fourth and goal, just jump over now. You know what I mean? Cam Newton is going to get beat up, but he could be getting a lot of rushing touchdowns.
But then imagine if Cam goes down, all that rushing upside for those RBs. Man.
Yeah, you're right. Crazy. You're right. I think, though, Jonnu, regardless of anything, might be the safest play in New England this year.
I like Jonnu a lot. I just think he's got that upside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
I actually regret taking Higbee over him.
I really like Jacoby Myers. Like, I think that he has the potential to be the number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
They love him because he's like an undrafted player that's literally worked up through the ranks. And I know that they got Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, but those guys aren't really like that electrifying or anything. They're like wide receiver 2s, not even a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. So Jacoby Myers is pretty much like free. I know that Charter is in this draft with us, and he knows that I like Jacoby Myers, so that's why he took him so early. But
I think that also that this whole New England team and situation might be like a sleeper team for fantasy because everyone is off the radar on them. They're all going like after round 7, 8. There's not one player, maybe other than Harris, who's going pretty high, and he hasn't even looked that great yet, and he does have injury concerns. With this team, I mean, who's going to be their wide receiver 1? Jonnu Smith, maybe. Bourne and the other guy. Or Myers. Myers offers that upside as that wide receiver 1. We were just talking about James White as that late dart throw because he could possibly have some really good value. You're talking about 13th round for a guy. That's fucking value right there.
Free. Anybody after 11th round or after, I just feel like it's free. And that's why I'd really be shooting for high upside players. Like, I don't really like shooting for safe floor players.
But then, like, when you look at it, like a guy like Madison or White, the way I start looking at that now, White actually becomes more of a value at that point of the draft, where maybe I needed, like, and I'm saying this also because let's look at it, McKissick. Does White offer more value than McKissick, considering we don't know what's going to go on this year? Does White offer more value than Hines this year? Because now that you have Marlon back and you're supposed to be expecting Jonathan Taylor to take a next step, wouldn't that necessarily mean that Hines is going to be taking a regression?
I think Hines is going to take a little bit of regression. J.D. McKissick, though, I feel like his floor is safe. Like, I really feel like he's going to be that 4 to 6 like reception guy.
I mean, but we saw the big boost with him with Alex Smith. Like, if you called anyone a check down guy, Alex Smith was it. He was just hitting that running back. This guy was getting like 10 to 12 catches in some of those games, which really boosted his value. I mean, I agree with you where he does offer some good value, but wouldn't you think that James White might have more of an opportunity than J.D. McKissick because of Antonio Gibson being such a premier 3-down type back?
Well, for me, I just feel like with McKissick, it's baked into their offense. Like, yeah, Alex Smith is check down Charlie, but you look how Washington's even playing in the preseason right now. They're checking it down, and that's a big part of their offense. And we're talking about, the same coordinators, that were there with CMC a couple years ago. So it's an easy play,
bro.
Easy play to throw a ball out, a yard or two and let a guy get in space. And I feel like McKissick's definitely going to be like the 2, not even a 1B. But I feel like as much as they're going to be checking it down, which they've already showed, even with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he was checking it down a lot. It was baked into the offense, so it's not even really a check down.
You're really starting to make me think about Gibson at the 111, man.
He's a fucking beast, like man.
Bro. I think Gibson, man. I like Gibson more than Taylor this year, and I don't know if I'm the only one.
I think
What about over Chubb? Who would you rather have, Nick Chubb or Gibson?
So I have Elliott, Chubb, and then Gibson as like my 6, 7, and 8, I believe.
The thing about Cleveland is that they're one of those teams like the Ravens, like Matty was saying, where it's like they just have so much volume running the ball that like they can support having the 2 running backs in Hunt and in Chubb. But I don't know. Personally, I'm starting to go Gibson to the moon, man.
Yeah,
Gibson,
and I think
Gibson and Eckler and Jones are like my favorite guys in this back half of this first round.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Gibson may turn into a late first round, just because the hype is there. I feel like a reason why J.D. McKissick is also safe. He's good in pass protection, and Washington's defense is so fucking stout that if they go up, Gibson, he's gotten hurt. He's gotten hurt in the past, so we got to make sure that he's there through the 17 games. So I feel like they're going to monitor that workload a little bit.
Yep.
All right. Before we get out of here, why don't we each talk about maybe like a team or two that we like outside of our own? Matty Daddy, why don't you start and talk about a team or two that stand out to you here?
I'm gonna go for whoever drafted from the 12th spot. A lot of intrigue here. I don't believe he take a court. Yeah, he did take. So look at this squad. You got Barkley and Gibson, Gaskin. So right off the bat, if 2 of 3 of these guys hit, you're going to be in most games. You got Galladay, if healthy, he's the number 1 on his team. That should be wide receiver 2 production. Hawk's going to get fed targets. Murray's safe with his rushing floor, could improve as a passer. Then you got, I believe that's AB right there. AB could be sneaky. So you got AB, Mooney's the deep guy there. Fields is there. It's going to be sexy. I still think McKissick's going to get a little bit of work. I don't know what, but at the 10th round, I'll take it. Terrence Marshall in the slot with his ex-coach from college. That's sexy. And then, like we said, we've seen what Stevenson's done. He's 1 injury away from being fantasy relevant. So I think the 12th spot's pretty sexy right there.
Yeah, the wide receivers are probably the only thing. I mean, I like the guys that he got late, but Galladay and Landry is the 1 and 2. I think that's the only thing that would make but I'd almost take AB over Landry this year. I mean, yeah,
just with that offense. I mean, Landry just doesn't have any upside.
I agree with you. I think that they're the same receiver. Like it's like the same thing that you're looking at between Landry and Brown. A guy that's going to get you, maybe 10 to 11 points per game. Doesn't really offer you the big blow up. Maybe they'll blow up once or twice for the year, but for the most part, they're just going to be, 5 catches for 50 yards, 7 catches for 70 yards, and call it a day.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at Matty V 123, the 4th pick. That's an actually interesting team. You got Henry, Metcalf, McLaurin. They take Mahomes at the 4th, which is, normally I do like the later later quarterbacks, but I think for the way his team is built, he ended up getting Carter, Jones, and Drake in that glut of 7th to 9th round to really balance his roster out. He has Judy and Thielen as his wide receivers 3 and 4. I think Thielen as a wide receiver 3 is an absolute steal. So you're talking about you have one of the best running backs. You have a deep wide receiver core. You have running backs to hold you over. You got Mahomes killing it. I really like that team.
Yeah, for sure. You nailed it. Hit it on the head.
Yeah.
And I can't stroke his ego too much, but man, I really like Matty Daddy's team. I like the way that it's super well-rounded. I mean, going 3 running backs right off the bat. Like even if Swift doesn't hit, I mean, you took him so late that's really, I mean, took him at RB20. Like that's like perfect and probably the latest that I've really seen him go. And then Lamb and Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson's been looking real good in the preseason. Definitely looks like Big Ben's favorite target. So I think he is going to lead the team in targets. And then Lamar Jackson, he's always going to do good. And then Boyd and Cooks, I feel like Boyd is so undervalued, right now. And then Cooks, I don't know if Cooks has ever finished lower than a wide receiver too. He's always fucking money. He's going to be the number 1 there. Even auto pick Brady was still nice. I don't know about Ito Smith, but I do like, partnering up with Jonnu Smith there for sure.
That's Irv.
Or Irv Smith. I mean, yeah, Ito. Yeah, Irv Smith. I get a little bit nervous, about, is this really going to be the breakout? Because it seemed like each of the last couple years, he was more talented than Rudolph. And I know Rudolph's gone, but does Kirk Cousins just not throw it to him? We shall see. I do like the Chuba pick, and then I like the Jonnu pick. Gabriel Davis, super late is crazy. Yeah, someone even threw that out there. Gabe Davis, that late's a steal. And then Fields. I think it's only a matter of time before Fields gets in there, and I can't wait. And you got Allen Robinson, so you got or no, that was the guy after you. But yeah, I can't wait. And you didn't get Fields. You got Gio Bernard. Sorry, I'm really high on mixed the last guy in you. But yeah, Gio Bernard. I think that they're not going to play Keyshawn Vaughn, and that Gio actually gets in there a little bit. Matty, I think you're muted.
Oh yeah, you definitely are.
My kid was in the room. Dang it. Kids. Yeah, dude, I'm pumped with the upside. Like I said, Gabe Davis this late, injury away from something. Gio, I mean, Fournette and Rojo can't pass block. Bernard's an excellent pass down guy. I mean, this to me, Bernard's a screaming value in the 14.
Definitely. He's free. He was a throw-in at that point.
For free.
Yeah. All right. That was dope. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow. That one's going to be a little bit in the later afternoon or close to the evening, depending on where you are. And I'll let you know the specific time a little later on social media, and stream should be posted a little later tonight. So yeah, Taco, Matty Daddy, if you guys got nothing going on, you're more than welcome to jump in. Going to do the same settings, do a lot of 1 QB mock drafts for all these mock drafts starting on the 30th. This upcoming week.
Yeah, if you're doing it in the evening tomorrow, I should be down. I have some stuff early, but other than that, I'm in, baby. It's redraft season. It's 1 QB season. It's my shit, baby.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. Matty Daddy, why don't you tell everybody where to find you at?
Absolutely. Matty Daddy FF. That's all gas, no breaks. I'm always on point and in the zone, baby. Fantasy football affair for all your dynasty football questions. Wednesday nights, I do quick hitters. Then you see up there NFT. I also do their video content. Think of it as, your online gaming, your NFTs meet dynasty, meet DFX. $15,000 cash prize week 1, free to enter. Get those yums, baby. And Hustler, thank you for having me, my man.
Yeah, thanks for making an appearance. I know you are super busy doing streams pretty much every day. So yeah,
it's a blast, dude.
That's what's up. I mean, for me, you guys can find me at TDS Taco on Twitter. I answer all questions and try to help everybody out the best I can. On Facebook, we have our content going. Normally, you see me in Hustlers group posting some stuff. YouTube, we have a bunch of mock draft videos up. We're going 1 QB league redraft PPR style. We're drafting against the computer from every position to kind of give you an idea of the strategy and some places in your draft where you might have to worry about that fork in the road. Like, okay, if I go one way or the other, how's my team going to look? So we got you covered there.
Woo woo. And I'm going to be coming out with 2 or 3 of those here soon. Cause those are fun. You can knock those out a little bit faster, but I like doing it this way too. Drafting against some real competition. All righty, everybody. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Everyone who's still here, appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to everybody's YouTube channel here, make sure you subscribe. For everyone who's in the Facebook group for the fantasy football advice experts, gurus, and beginners, Matty Daddy is in there. Taco is in there. So make sure you go follow them on Facebook as well for all you guys in the group. All righty. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Show me the money.
Oh, you didn't know?
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Put my shoes on, you wouldn't last a mile. Summertime, wintertime, I'm on the grind. Yeah, I got the ring, I'm the champ, I'm the genie of the lamp.
This is the gift I was given, so I just live by my hustle.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
VIP me put in my pocket, it don't make sense, but don't make a profit. It's all a hustle, ladies and homies. Make money, money.
Called out here for a pill. Ready tryna get this money for the real.
I want to find the things in my life, so I hustle.
It ain't over for me. No, it ain't over for me.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.